the first question here. As we get started, can you share how can we affect and alter matter, including your own body and mind, with your thoughts alone?
Okay, well, most people think of matter as this solid and stable thing. You know, the big sticks and stones world out there, they think is fixed and immutable. And of course, that's the scientific story we've been told, Steve. I mean, we're told that, you know, we're separate objects and very well-behaved ones that operate according to fixed laws in time and space. That is Newtonian science that we've continued to adopt to this day. But the new science coming forward demonstrates that things are very mutable and also influenceable. Now, just to give you one idea about this, what we now realize, and we've known this for about 100 years, the quantum physicists have, is that when you get to the smallest elements of matter, they aren't an actual something. They're just an energy trade. They're a poof, a vibratory nothingness. And so they're trading information back and forth, but they're also not a set entity yet. Scientists understand a thing called superposition. And to describe this to you, think of an auditorium full of empty chairs. Now, if a subatomic particle is in a state of superposition, it is occupying every single chair all at the same time. It's all possible states all at once. And the only thing that collapses that down to a set state is the involvement or observation of an observer. And by involvement, I mean something like a measurement. So scientists have understood that matter, subatomic matter, isn't a fixed anything. It's not an entity yet. I like to say it's a little like unset Jell-O, and that our involvement, our observation gets that Jell-O to set. Now, that indicates that in the world of the tiny, things aren't set. But we're now discovering with this amazing new scientific discoveries that big things also operate according to the quantum world. Things like photosynthesis, the very building block of our universe in terms of creating the oxygen we breathe through plants, that the entire process of photosynthesis, the very crucible where that operates, is also operating according to quantum laws. So what that says to me is that in the big sticks and stones world, things are also mutable. And we know from a vast amount of science, Steve, that I talk about and I write about, that things are influenceable, that thoughts are not just things, but thoughts are trespassers that go outside our head and traverse into other people and things and affect them and alter them. And we know this not because of supposition, but because of an enormous body of science that has demonstrated that we can change everything from single-celled organisms to full-fledged human beings. And certainly that's been something that I've been very much involved with because I'm very skeptical at heart, to be honest. And when I heard all this stuff about mutable matter and manifestation and intention, my first thought was, well, what are we talking about here? How far can we take this? Are we talking about shifting a quantum particle? Or are we talking about curing cancer with our thoughts? And so that was one of the reasons I set up the intention experiment to test it. I knew a lot of scientists in consciousness research, and I had a lot of readers by then with my first book in this area of the field. I had lots of readers around the world. So I thought, well, if I just put them together, I'll have the largest global laboratory in the world. And so that's what I do. I get the scientists to set up certain experiments, and I invite my readers to then hold one focused thought to try to change that very well-controlled experiment. And we've done everything from trying to make seeds grow faster to trying to purify water with our thoughts, to lowering violence in war-torn areas, to even healing somebody of post-traumatic stress disorder. Of 33 experiments to date, 29 have shown measurable, positive, mostly significant effects. There's no drug out there, Steve, that has that kind of consistent track record. So we know that life out there isn't set. That big sticks and stones world is influenceable, and we are influencing at every moment.
Wow, a lot to sponge up there. Thank you, Len. Okay, let me